My name is Amanda. I'm 47 years old. And until last month, I was the senior systems architect at Braverton Analytics, a data firm headquartered just outside Chicago. For 18 years, I was the invisible engine behind their most valuable asset, a custom-built, self-healing database system that processed $650 million in annual contracts. Logistics firms, federal procurement, agencies, medical data companies, they all relied on it, on me. I wrote every line of the foundational code. I designed the entire security framework. I handled every major upgrade. When the system needed patching at 2 a.m., I didn't send someone. I logged in. So, when my boss, Darren Price, summoned me to his office one rainy Thursday morning, I didn't expect to be ambushed. "Come in, Amanda," he said, smiling too much. That smile, polite, shallow, practiced. Something in my gut tightened. His son, Jordan, was already seated across from him, 23, maybe 24, with a sleek fade, designer hoodie, and that permanently smirking look Gen Z influencers have mastered. He was scrolling something on his Apple Watch. I sat. Darren folded his hands on the desk, like a pastor delivering bad news gently. "We've been talking about the future of Braverton, Amanda," he began, "and we think it's time to modernize. Fresh blood, fresh ideas." I nodded slowly. "Okay. What does that mean?" He smiled wider. "Jordan just finished his master's in digital innovation, top of his class. He's going to be joining the tech division, shadowing you for a while." I glanced at Jordan. He didn't look up. "Shadowing me?" I asked, careful not to let my voice crack. "For now," Darren said quickly. "Eventually we'll transition him into a more strategic role. You've done amazing work, Amanda. You've built this place from the inside out, but we can't keep running on legacy systems. Jordan's got ideas about blockchain integration, full AI automation, machine-led project ops." I blinked. "We already run 3 active machine learning models. I built them." "Exactly," Darren said, as if that proved his point. "But the world is changing fast. You know how it is. Your methods are great, but they're, let's say, seasoned. Jordan represents the future." I nodded, lips pressed tight. "I'm sure he'll be a great fit." Darren beamed. Jordan still hadn't looked at me. I walked out of that office with a calm face and a boiling stomach. I'd been here since before Darren even bought the company outright. I remembered when Braverton had folding chairs and shared login. I remembered the long weekends rebuilding systems after blackouts, doing emergency patchwork with a flashlight and an old ThinkPad. And now I was being seasoned out. That was the first crack. 2 days later, Jordan was given full admin credentials to the central system. Darren didn't even ask me first. He just sent a casual memo. "Let's get Jordan onboarded to the core framework so he can start learning architecture." Learning architecture like it was just instructions on a YouTube tutorial. I watched Jordan stumble through basic documentation. He didn't know the difference between a dynamic table and a static array. He once tried to rerun a backup script from a test environment live. Thankfully, I had installed invisible safeguards, protocols I'd written myself years ago after watching a junior dev accidentally wipe a sandbox server during onboarding. Jordan didn't know those safeguards were even there. Every day, I watched the AE system I had spent 18 years perfecting be fumbled like a toy in the hands of someone who thought data migration meant dragging folders to Dropbox. Still, I smiled. I trained. I documented. But I also started watching the access logs. Jordan was logging in late at night, making changes he didn't understand, poking around in modules he wasn't cleared to modify. I knew what was happening even before the words were said out loud. Last Bani Haige Yair. Friday, Darren stopped by my cubicle with a box in his hands. "Hey, Amanda, can we chat for a second?" I stood slowly. "Of course." We walked into conference room 3A. It was empty except for a small stack of papers on the table. "Let's sit," he said, still with that pastor's smile. I did. "This is hard," he began, "but we've made a decision. Effective immediately, Jordan will be stepping into the senior systems architect role. We'd like to transition you into a part-time consultancy, I kept my face still. I see, you've been incredible. Seriously, but the board wants forward motion, and I understand, I said. He relaxed. You do? I smiled gently. Absolutely. Jordan's got fresh ideas. He's the future. He exhaled, grateful. Thank you, Amanda. I stood, took the papers, shook his hand. Then I walked back to my desk, opened my laptop, and typed a single command. Not to destroy anything. Not yet. Just to awaken a system I'd quietly embedded into the architecture 5 years ago. A fail-safe designed to protect Braverton's data from hostile intrusions, cyber attacks, or in this case, reckless incompetence. It started a countdown, but I could stop it at any time. They had 7 days, and they didn't even know the clock had started ticking. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling fan, listening to the faint hum of its rotation, thinking about every weekend I had ever given to Braverton Analytics. Every birthday I'd missed, every time I skipped family dinners because a server was misfiring or a client API broke during a holiday sync. And now I was being replaced by a 23-year-old who didn't know how to ping a node without Googling at first. The fail-safe I activated wasn't destructive by design. Not yet. It was defensive. Think of it like a sealed chamber with oxygen slowly draining. If you knew what you were doing, you could restore balance. But if you didn't, well, things would begin to collapse piece by piece. I checked the logs again that morning from my personal laptop. Access attempt 0314 AM. User JPRIC. Admin, module, core, query, handlers. Status blocked insufficient clearance. He was trying to rewrite one of the query handlers that regulated client transaction summaries. He'd been warned in the documentation not to touch that section. It wasn't just code. It was logic. Logic that connected 143 subroutines, including billing triggers, compliance flags, and data reconciliation flows. Break it, and the whole house starts to tilt. But I didn't intervene. Let the system whisper its own warning first. At 9:41 AM, a Level 2 diagnostic alert was triggered. Nothing dramatic. Would you like me to continue the story or adjust the formatting in any way?